Hello student, let us start with Wilson theorem. Now what is this Wilson theorem? If P is a prime number, okay? If P is a prime number, then as per the Wilson theorem, P minus 1 factorial is congruent minus 1 mod. Okay, so this theorem will be very helpful whenever factorial is coming in picture. See, in the very beginning, when I explain you the definition of congruence modulo, I tell you it helped me to find out the last digit and remainders. Correct? And I explain you the method also. Now, Euler's theorem, Fermat theorem, and Wilson theorem, they are the particular cases. Like when you have a number which has a particular property, like it is a prime or GCD is something, in that case, particular cases, this give me a small formula or a result which help me to calculate the remainder or last digit in very few steps, right? So Wilson theorem is very easy to recognize because it will have factorial in it. So if you see a question with factorial, means it is an application of Wilson theorem. Okay, now the same statement I can redefine as P minus 1 factorial plus 1 congruent mod P. This is another format to write the Wilson theorem. Both are same, only the way of writing is different. One more format is there. I can also write it as P minus 1 factorial congruent P minus 1 mod P. So these are the same thing. They are the same statement, only the way of writing is different. Okay, now you remember this theorem and now let us apply this to solve the questions. Okay, let's go to the first question. Now my first question is, show that 10 factorial plus 1 is divisible by 11. Now students, keep in your mind, when I am dividing by something, that something will play the role of mod n. So here, if you remember Wilson theorem, the P was coming as a mod, okay? So P value is 11. Okay, now what is a Wilson theorem? What is the statement? P minus 1 factorial congruent minus 1 and mod P. And this works when P is a prime number. Yes, 11 is a prime number. So let me apply the theorem. 11 minus 1 is what? 10. So 10 factorial congruent minus 1 mod 11. Correct? So I got that 10 factorial minus 1 mod 11. What is the other format of Wilson theorem? If this minus 1 can come here. So 10 factorial plus 1 congruent mod 11. And here 0. Right? Now what is my question? Show that 10 factorial plus 1 is divisible by 11. Right? So now if you look at this and you try to apply the definition of congruent, what does the definition of congruent says? Ki A minus B is divisible by n. So if I am writing this, it means that 10 factorial minus this number, that is minus of minus 1, is divisible by 11. So 10 factorial plus 1 is divisible by 11. So if you don't do this, it's perfectly okay. No need to do this. Directly after this statement, by definition of congruence, you can explain and you get the result. Right? So it was a direct question where I have just applied the definition of Wilson theorem and the congruent modulo. Now let us see one more question. Now what is the question? Find remainder. Okay? Find remainder when 12 factorial is divided by 13. Again, factorial means it should click to my mind. Wilson. Okay, and I am dividing by 13, means p value is 13. So apply the Wilson theorem. Wilson theorem says p minus 1 means 12 factorial congruent minus 1 mod 13. Correct? Now, as per the definition of congruency, the difference of these two should be divided. 13 should divide the difference of these two. So 13 divides 12 factorial, minus of minus 1 is plus 1. Correct? So I got this thing. But what is the question? Now question says find the remainder when 12 factorial is divided by 13. So this is the one concept I know. What is the another concept, or what is the another thing I told when I am writing like this? It means that n divides a minus b, first core concept, and the second core concept was this b represent the remainder when I divide say n. So I can say that when 12 factorial is divided by 13, remainder is minus 1. Correct? Now, as I told you, I should not write my answer as a negative number or a number greater than this mod value. So I should reduce this minus 1 to some other thing. Now, how to do that work? If you remember, I have taught you how to convert. I want to convert minus 1. So write it like this, mod 13. Correct? What does it mean? 13 divides minus 1 minus x. Correct? Now tell me what value of x I should put so that it become divisible by 13. Obviously 13 if comes. So I will get my answer. And when 13 will come, when in place of x I will put 12. So x is equal to 12 is my answer. Okay. So when factorial 12 is divided by 13, remainder is 12. So what I have applied? I first wrote the Wilson theorem. Then I used the definition of congruent. In the previous question, I used the first part of the definition. And in this question, I have used the remainder concept. And with remainder concept, I got minus 1. Since I don't prefer to have negative answer, I converted it to the positive. Okay, minus 1 is correct. But I don't prefer to write my answers as the negative value. So I converted it to 12. In fact, if you increase it, you can get a number more than 12 also. That will also be a correct answer. Okay, but we usually prefer the positive smallest answer. Okay. Now let us see one more question. Now find remainder when 146 factorial is divided by 149. Again, since factorial came, so what will click in my mind? I should use the Wilson theorem. Right? Now I am using the Wilson theorem and I am dividing by 149. So p value is 149. Now what is my Wilson theorem? P minus 1 factorial means 148 factorial congruent minus 1 mod p. So this is my definition. Let me name it 1. Now what is the difference in this question? Previous question were just a rearrangement or understanding of this statement 1. But now they are asking me 146 factorial. So how to solve it? Let's start like this. I am calculating the value of 146 factorial mod 149. Correct? This is what I am searching. Now what is the property of factorial? If I have 3 factorial, if I multiply it by 4, it will become 4 factorial. Right? Because we know that n factorial is equal to n minus 1, n minus 2 like that. So from 146 to I should reach to 148. So for that, I will multiply both the side by 147 and 148. Okay. This is not equal congruent. So 147 into 148 into 146 factorial mod 149. Correct? Here x is also there. Now, in right hand side, what I'll do? This will become 148 factorial. Okay. See, 146 factorial into 147, then 148. So it will become 148 factorial mod 149. So from equation number 1, I can replace this by minus 1 mod 149. Correct, by definition of mod. So I can replace this by minus 1 mod 149. So let me do it only. Minus 1 mod 149. Now I have a problem on left hand side. Such a big number I don't want to handle. Okay, it will be very difficult to solve such a big number. So I will reduce this 147 and 148. Correct. Now what is a way to reduce it? If you remember, I have told you how to reduce a number using congruence, right? So let us do here in rough and then we will put the value over there. When I want to reduce 147, I'll write 147 congruent x mod 149. Now one way is use calculator, get the value of x. Since the numbers are very close, so it is very easy to decide the answer. 149 divides 147 minus x. So what should be the value of x? Minus 2. See, if I put x is equal to minus 2, it will become 149. And yes, 149 divides 149. So I can replace this 147 by minus 2. Now same thing for 148. If I do 148 congruent x mod 149, what it will be? Again 149 divides 148 minus x. So x has to be minus 1. Minus 1 x. So this will become 2x congruent minus 1 mod 149. And this is a simple linear congruence. And I have told you and I have given so many questions in small shorts to solve this type of congruence, right? So when you solve this congruence, the method, if I'll remind you, you have to write 149 and 2, then you will write, and by division algorithm, it will be very simple. 74 and 148 will come here. So 1 will come, then 2 and 2s are 2 and it will become 0. So you can write 149 is equal to 2 into 74 plus 1. Correct? Like this you will write, and then what you will do? You will rearrange the terms. How you will rearrange the terms? Since I have got only one equation. So I'll write 1 is equal to 149 minus 2 into 74. Since b value is minus 1, multiply all the three sides by minus 1. Now if you observe carefully, this is your n value and this is your a value. So what is your x value? X value is 74. So the answer is 74. So this is how you have to solve the question. So I told you two categories of question. One category was direct definition, where I am asking the remainder or I am asking you to prove. But yes, it is in terms of factorial. And second one, there is a difference between these two numbers, then I am multiplying, reducing it and then solving it. Right? So this is all about the Wilson theorem. Just to give more practice, I will upload one more question of Wilson theorem as a short. Okay? Thank you very much.